Hey guys, I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about moving through life transitions with grace and strength and empowerment, and really recognizing the gift that transition is, that release is in creating space for something new that wants to come through us in our lives. Um, I feel like this is something that I've been moving through this year, and I know I'm not the only one. I think a lot of us are moving through big transitions, big changes, certainly collectively, as the world has been changing faster and faster than ever. And that can create a lot of instability for people, as like the tectonic plates of everything that we've ever known to be true, that we've thought to be true, are changing. We're being asked to release our old notions of life. We're being asked to release old beliefs about the world and about ourselves, right? Anything that we see happening out in the collective is going to be reflected in our personal world as well. So that's what I want to talk about today, is how to really navigate personal shifts, releases in our life, how to let go and to recognize the aspects of ourselves that are being let go as we see different parts of our life change, right? And how to really anchor the energy to hold space for what's wanting to come through you instead. And I don't want to say instead, but what's wanting to come through in a new way, right? Yeah. So transition, transformation. I mean, I just want you to take a minute and think about, from wherever you are now in your life, like how many iterations have you been through? How many lives have you lived in one life? Probably a lot. I know when I look back at my life, particularly since becoming a nomad, but really my entire life, is like every probably 3, 4 years, I feel like an entirely new version of myself. I'm showing up in my relationships differently. I value and desire different things. I'm drawn to different types of things. I want to spend my time doing and learning and creating different things. This is an important thing to recognize, right? Because when you're moving through like a gnarly change, when you're being asked to step into something that you've never done before or let go of something that you've really held for a long time, it can feel like a death. It can really feel like you're letting go of a piece of yourself, a vital piece of yourself, which in many ways you are. And this is why we must die before we die, right? Die before you die, and then when you die, you will not die. Um, we let go of a piece of ourselves so that we can live again, so that we can give birth to something new. Going through a transition process can really feel like this, and keep in mind that transitions and change, they can be on a more overt form, right? Like the more external changes, like changing jobs, moving houses, moving across the country, losing a relationship. It can be even bigger and more traumatic experiences, or really anything else that is kind of happening in your external world. But transitions as well can be internal. You might notice yourself feeling differently. You might notice your temperament kind of changing, your need for more space. You might notice yourself feeling more introverted or more sensitive than you used to. Or you might notice yourself being asked by life to kind of step out and take more action if you've been more inwards. So there's ways that life can move through us in different ways, as well as we see these more obvious external changes. So just to share a little bit about my personal journey and sort of what inspired this video, I was reflecting today on, yeah, both the past few years and how much has changed for me since I started going to Peru in 2019, until today, and just realizing, first of all, that I feel like a completely different person since then. Like looking back to, and obviously like the same person, but also different, right? And I'm sure you can relate if you look back at a period of your life 5 years ago. Perhaps we're all different people than we were from 2019, right? I can't be the only one. We've changed a lot since we've started shifting collectively at a more rapid pace. But I was just really reflecting on how my values, my desires in life, the direction that I'm going, the things that I care about, the people that I like to spend time with have all really changed in these past years. And earlier this year, I was in Peru, where I was from October until June, and I started to receive this message that there was another transition incoming. I wasn't quite sure what that meant. The sense of like my base might be changing, my home base. Is there something new coming in? I always have this soul home in Peru, and I'm always going to be bringing people there and spending time there, but there's something else that I'm being called into. Still don't know what that is. Figuring it out. Incidentally, I'm here now in Washington, actually at my mom's place during a transition time. I just came back from Europe, and I'm heading out to do some rites of passage work with a group of young women, and then going down to Portland. So I'm here for a few days, and being in the transition zone is always a nice place to get perspective on your life as well, for myself. And travel brings me that perspective as well. But yeah, I was in this, like, getting this notices about transition. We hosted a beautiful retreat in January, and all these women coming to go in their own internal process of transformation, working with medicine, working with each other, going through all of going through our journey together. It was a big portal, and as well, even as the facilitator, it catalyzes this process even more. There's like just being in this journey of change, this journey of growth. So that started to catalyze things even more. And yeah, and then kind of the big one, I was able to be on the receiving side of another transformational journey portal training in the springtime, doing some deep shamanic work and practicing more with the shamanic healing and with a group of women. And yeah, during this container where I was able to just receive and learn and be and grow, I received this message that a lot more transition, I should say, was incoming, and transformation. That like the work that I was doing would be changing. I was doing some coaching work for this company, and I got the message that would be falling away. That was a big source of stability for me alongside of my private practice. But I just felt this sense that is going away. So I'm going to be asked to really stand on my own and start to carve and create my own path with my work. I got the message that several key relationships in my life were going to be falling away soon. And that was surprising to me, because that's never really been something that's happened to me. Like I'm very, I don't know. I've always really like held dearly to people in my life, and it's always been difficult for me to let go. But I received this message that some of this would be shifting and changing. And I just want to say, one thing that I've learned about relationships in our lives is we walk our path with others as long as there's like a connection point there. We're supporting each other in some process of growth, of learning, of love, of compassion, of support. Or we often walk alongside people in life that trigger us, that challenge us, that spur us to growth in difficult ways as well, right? But there's always something there. There's always a bond. There's something there that we're completing together. Obviously, that can go our whole lives. We can spend our whole lives supporting others and I have beautiful friendships in my life that I know are going to be lifelong. At least I know that now, but we never know, right? Just this beautiful journey of support and evolution. But I believe as well, when we've completed a process, when that journey of support and growth has completed, that relationship may fall away, and I believe it's important to stay tuned into the energy of that dynamic rather than the context in which something happens, right? Because we can get so focused on, well, she said this, he said this, what happened? Like, what was it about? When actually it may just be life serving you by completing something that's ready to go so that you can, really evolve to the next level of your own development. So that's one thing that I've learned in my life in the past as well, having had completed some cycles of relationships, really recognizing to honor that relationship with gratitude and love, and to also have gratitude for the completion so that I can move on my way as well. So anyways, the point is I had all this messages all these messages during this experience, during this week, that so much would be changing in my life. And as well, that my home, I was supposed to let go of my home in Peru and not sign again and not sublet and just like let it go for now. And so yeah, I came out of there like within a span of 2 days to several weeks. All of these things manifested. The work fell away, the relationships fell away. Like, and it wasn't even, yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere, all of this. And then again, I decided to let go of the house. I will be going back to Peru, but anyway, the house needed to go. So all of these things needed to go. And it really left me with this sense of, wow, there's a lot of really key pieces of my life that are no longer here. And I'm just sharing this because maybe you can relate. When is the last time that you, really were forced to release these some sources of stability, whether that's emotional stability through relationships, whether it's financial stability or home stability or anything else, right? It can feel really scary. And it can also feel really liberating. But in that moment, it's an opportunity to really be in the space between, right? To be in that, okay, I'm not here anymore, but I'm also not yet there, right? A chance to be with yourself, to be in presence, to become clear on what your intentions are, your priorities, your values, and to become a conscious co-creator with life in the new thing that is wanting to come through you. So I want to share about 5 practices and tools that that support me during this kind of process, that I use to help support my clients as well through their own process of inner shift and transformation. And I will say that several months through, all of this, there's still big changes happening in my life all the time. But I'm feeling this real sense of peace and space, this new sense of space. And actually, yeah, it's interesting. Like, there's often this paradox or contrast, right? Like, it could, in the beginning, I sort of started to feel this sense of anxiety around, the home thing, the work thing, like, oh, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? This and that. But there's actually been so much more peace and relaxation in my nervous system, knowing that, certain things that weren't fully aligned have let go, right? I've let go. And there's actually this deep sense of trust with life that the next thing that I need, the thing that, whether it's opportunities, whether it's connections, collaborations, home base, whatever else, supportive relationships, like, they come in when we are in a state of groundedness and peace in ourselves. And I know I don't want that to sound too like hippy dippy or something, but they do. And when we're panicking and frantically, like, for example, with regards to work, like if you're someone who is in transition with your work right now, and you're letting something go, you're looking for something else, like, rather than being frantic and grasping towards the next thing, can you actually breathe and be in the space between, really feel the felt sense of what that next opportunity will look like, or feel like, I should say, or how you want to be showing up, what you want to be doing for your work, how you want to be feeling, right? To feel it before you call it in, rather than just grasping for the next thing, which is something that I used to do back in my 20s or early 30s, I'd say as well. Like, always kind of hustling. I had this very hustle mentality. I was a digital nomad for many years. I was always hustling for work. I did everything: freelancing, writing, graphic design, marketing, communications, I don't know, PR, like I did all this stuff. And I was always hustling for the next work. And I never really paused to feel in my body what would actually feel the best. What did I really want to be doing? Now I'm doing it more, and really after leaving this last rendition of work that was sort of aligned, it was coaching, wasn't fully aligned, it was ketamine. After leaving that last rendition, it's given me the space to really feel what the most aligned work is, which is what I'm doing now in my practice. So in any case, practice number 1 that I want to share with you is using your breath. So again, this anchor to the present. Just take a deep breath and let go. Right? When you're focusing on your breath, there's no way to be trapped in the past or the future, which is where anxiety comes in. But often when we're letting go, when things are shedding out of our lives, we can be preoccupied with holding on to them, with thinking about how things used to be, thinking about the past, how things could have gone in the future. Now this is gone. What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And we have to stay present, right? We have to stay with our breath. The breath also creates space in the body for that new thing that's emerging. And the exhale helps us to clean, to cleanse, detoxify, to release. So you can really use that as a tool to, visualize any cobwebs, any sticky energy, any cords from the old that you're letting go. That can also just be parts of yourself, like old limiting beliefs, old emotional patterns, old habits that you want to break. Visualize those going back to the earth, just cleansing out of your system, going back where they came from, or visualize them flowing down through a river. Inhale, new space, new energy, new life, new potential, because that's what we're always doing. We are literally vessels of potential, taking in potential, releasing the old, breathing in new, doing something with it, letting it go. Same thing when we eat food and drink water. We're turning this potential energy into our energy, and then we co-create with our consciousness to make amazing things happen in our lives. So yeah, develop a breathing practice. 5 minutes in the morning, sitting with yourself with your breath. There's breathwork practices on my YouTube channel, or just simply commit to come back to 5 to 10 breaths consciously 3 times a day. Just sit with yourself. Okay, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to focus on my breath for 5 breaths or 10 breaths. And just do it and see how you feel. It's going to support you with whatever you're moving through. Number 2, develop a somatic practice. So what do I mean by somatic? First of all, it's connecting to the felt sense of what's happening inside of you, inside of your body, kind of connecting your body and your emotional experience, but also just your felt experience of what's there. So with regards to release and transition in your life, you just place your hand on your heart and your hand on your belly. And again, just use the breath to notice how you feel. Allow yourself to feel how you feel, right? So often we want to escape or distract ourselves from our sadness, from our grief, from our fear, from our discomfort. So don't do that. Try just sitting with it. Give yourself an intentional space to feel what's coming up for you around what you're moving through. Yeah. And the more that we just feel it and let it move through, it doesn't have a hold on us. It doesn't become stuck and lodged in our bodies. It doesn't become heavy and pull us unconsciously into that emotion, right? We feel it, we let it go. Also, really good to develop, this is also still part of number 2, just develop movement practice in your life, right? Get up and shake your body, discharge, find ways to just release your energy, stomping into the ground, shaking your body, tapping your body, activating your body. These are all good ways to just create more space for energy to flow and to release. You don't have to be thinking consciously about what you're releasing, but just activating your body it's just going to open up your channels. Everything will just move more freely. And make sure you're getting plenty of movement, plenty of exercise, going for walks, working out, doing yoga, whatever feels good, stretching, opening, creating space in your body. It's all really going to support that process of letting go. So number 3 is to kind of spend some time in self-reflection. You might want to do this in a journal, but is to look at, and this is kind of particularly if you have things in your life that are kind of tangibly leaving and shedding, like going through big changes. What is it, or it can even be, even if not, what are the parts of you that you are kind of letting go? For example, if you're in a transition with your work, what are the parts of yourself that you're letting go with that transition, right? It's never just about the thing. It's never about job. It's never about the person or the relationship or whatever. But what are you letting go, right? Like, are you letting go of this rigid aspect of you that just isn't aligned anymore? Are you letting go of a certain lifestyle? Are you letting go of If there's relationship in your life that's falling away, are you releasing the part of you that has accepted disempowerment or being treated a certain way? Or are you releasing a certain pattern that you've engaged with in relationships? That's often another one that I find is we tend to attract similar people that evoke a similar dynamic within us, with them, until we learn the lesson that we need to learn, until we complete that. I don't even want to say heal it, but it's like until we complete the lesson, and then we no longer attract that dynamic, that type of person anymore, right? So you might recognize, okay, there's a dynamic that I've played out here. That's actually what I'm letting go. It's not just about this person, because you know what? It might not be about the person. The person might come back into your life. This is the other key to remember. We might reconnect, but if you've released an unhealthy dynamic, that doesn't have to be present in the relationship anymore, right? This is often why, like, when people leave our life, sometimes they don't come back because the relationship was based on a certain dynamic. Without the dynamic, there's nothing to actually hold you together, if that makes sense. So being really clear on what it is that you're letting go in yourself, and then also what are you calling in? Really tune in with what's birthing through you, what is coming into that space. Because the universe doesn't like a void, right? Anytime there's space being created, something else will come in. So what are you consciously calling into that space? When you listen to your intuition, when you really feel deep down, what is wanting to grow through you during this experience? So journaling on those things can be really helpful. Number 4 is going to be really anchoring in your purpose, in your values, in your direction, in your life path. This is such a big one, and I'll make another video about identifying, your path of purpose, which is a whole journey. But really, take some time as well in your journal or on a walk or in conversations with loved ones to really connect with, what are your core values in this point of your life? What are your priorities? How do you wish to be showing up? And what really matters the most to you right now? How do you want to be spending your time and directing your energy? What kinds of things do you want to be creating and focusing on? And how do you wish to be in service in the world? So I know I've just thrown a lot of questions at you, but really anchoring in your purpose and your direction will both help you stay centered and focused as you move through transition, and it will also help you see why these other aspects of your life are actually ready to go. They may not have been in alignment with the direction that you're ready to move now. And number 5 is really connecting and curating this beautiful community and environment around you that is supporting who you are stepping into, what your values are, what you're in alignment with, and what your direction of purpose is in your life, right? Again, you may see that it's necessary to have an overhaul. Maybe your work, your relationships, certain aspects of your life, your community were not serving who you are becoming, right? As we surround ourselves, the environment and the people that we surround ourselves with, they help define who we become and what matters to us and how we show up, right? Like, we'll take on the traits of those around us. And so if you notice that some things just aren't aligned anymore and they're kind of naturally falling away, it's because you are starting to embody more of who you truly are. And that essence, it's calling in a different type of support system. It's calling in a different kind of external world, right? Again, as we change within, so we see change without. The world is our mirror. Our relationships are a mirror, and we are a mirror for others as well. And so, if you see these things changing, it's like, yeah, you're being called in to be a mirror for new people, for new situations, and to learn and to grow, right? Because are we not on this life path to keep evolving, to keep growing, to keep learning as we go? Anyway, so that is what I wanted to share. I hope that you found some of these practices and tools helpful. I will, put a link in the show notes to some resources that you might find helpful for this work. And I just hope that whatever transitions, shedding, releasing that you're moving through, that you find your ways to do it with grace. Also, last thing I want to share, having ritual, bringing in ritual as a part of transition is so key. I'm actually in 2 days heading off to go to a rite of passage journey for young women, which is so symbolic as well. Actually, I didn't think about that till right now, but it's really so in line with what I'm speaking about here, right? Like we're moving through a threshold. We're moving from the known world to a threshold experience to go through a transformation and then to come out the other side different. And this is what we're doing all the time in our lives, right? We don't have to go to a retreat or a vision quest in order to have that experience. You can see your life, you can see these intense experiences as a rite of passage, as a ritual. So ritualize it. Find a way to mark the line in the sand with who you were, with who you are becoming, and stepping through that portal that's going to change you, right? Working with the elements can be a powerful way to symbolize transformation, to pray, to offer your intentions, right? Letting go with fire, with water, with earth, with air. Like they all help us to move energy. So work with the elements, use that to transmute what's going on inside of you. And please reach out if I can support, or let me know how your process is going, what you're moving through and how you're working with it. All right, I'm sending my love, and I will talk to you soon.